To staying tuned. Of course, we'll try to wrap up the conversation this morning, and we have Julius Afolabi, who is joining us virtually from the city of Calabar this morning. The conversations will be week-long around the 64th anniversary of our dear nation. But this morning, we want to look at the economic pathway of Nigeria these past 64 years. How well so far? If I take your mind back to the president's speech, he did refer to some of the policy reforms that they have initiated. Let's see if we can quickly speak to Mr. Afolabi this morning. Hello, good morning, Mr. Afolabi. Hello, good morning. Okay, but I mean, part of the things that we'll have as conversations when you're talking about a nation's growth is to look at its economic indices, its strength, the challenges, and the developments that it has made economic-wise. We're looking at some data back 2014, thereabouts, and we saw that, Nigeria's economy had actually risen to a consistent 7% and was, on that upward spiral. But several administrations down the line, things began to change. Good morning, Mr. Afolabi. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning to you. It's such a pleasure to be here too.
Thank you so much. Happy Independence.
I wish you all the same too.
All right then.
Good morning, Mr.
Francis is here with me. I do hope that we can have this conversation. We've been grappling with the network, but we're trying to look at Nigeria's economic pathway this last 64 years. Yourself, you are a business strategist, and you have interfaced with the economic and policy reforms of the nation. Successive administrations have come and gone and given different blueprints for the economy to grow. How would you rate this different investment over the years and where we are economically as a nation at 64?
Okay, as a nation at 64, comparing our economic performance to the nations that we look forward to or want to rank ourselves with, we would say that we have averagely done well. But we have an advantage, right? The peculiar advantage we have is that we have the advantage of speed, intellectual capacity, and natural resources. So with those advantages, I would not give us a pass mark in terms of performance. Like you rightly mentioned, different administrations have come with different blueprints. Now these blueprints are possible. They have become impossible because of the lack of political will in order to be able to implement them. Now, if we want to actually look at them and rate the economic blueprints, we have not had impact assessments. We can have statistical figures showing us that there's been a rise in the economic trajectory for about 7% over time. But then, does this translate into the real human experience or the citizenry's experience in real terms? So you can have statistical increase. This is data, right? Now this data is based on a particular some parameters, but do they translate to the actual well-being of the people? This is where we really measure the real indices of the figures that we see. So on a general scale, I would say we have averagely performed, right? But I can say that we can do very much better if the political will, the visionary leadership is there. Any nation that will be able to boast of any form of productive performance, first of all, would think in terms of safety, security, infrastructural development, and then intellectual capacity, that economic innovations. So you see it now. And the advantage and the emergence of technology is also telling that we have not done very well. For instance, if you worked in the civil service, right, in the last 64 years, in the civil service, you work for 35 years, right? Whatever it is that you come up with, today, with the advantage of technology, somebody can do as much and better than you would have done in 35 years in 2 years. Because of what? The advantage of technology. So we are blessed with human and capital resources, right? But without what? Visionary leadership and the political will to actually drive these blueprints to practical results, we will remain the same. The reason why I'm saying that we have done averagely well is that if you look at Canada, Canada got independence how many years back? In the 15th century, 16th century. United States is 1776, right? If you look at China. So you will see that it took them hundreds of years to be able to get to where they are today. And we are just 64. If we try to compare, we'll see that what? We will see that we have done very well. But again, if we look at the likes of the UAE, right, and look at their leadership and their resourcefulness, compare them with ours, right, we'll see that we have not done very well. If you look at China as well, that shared the same population growth with us, even more, almost 3 times or 4 or 5 times our population, with the same resourcefulness that they have. How far have they gone? What did they do differently that we cannot do? So these are the things we will use to try. In the African sub-region, we will say we have done well. But we are the giants of Africa. But are we manifesting our own magnitude in the way we are supposed to do? So I don't think that we have fared very well. If you look at it from the African continent, the entire world looks at the African continent with the eyes of Nigeria. So you see, we are a representative of Africa across the globe. So whatever we do serves as a standard for Africa. So if you look at it in that terms, we'll see that we have not done very well, given what the privileges of today.
All right, so my next question, from your analysis, you agree with what Mr. President has said this morning, and that's the fact that Nigeria is blessed with the abundance of human talent. And all around the world, within and outside the continent of Africa, different countries are benefiting from our talent. What then would be your advice to the government if we have the talent and people outside Nigeria are benefiting from the talents that we have, yet as a country, we are not benefiting? What is the reason for that, and how can we as a people, as a country, navigate past that and utilize the talents that we have and also benefit from them?
Thank you very much. You see, I'm smiling before you even finish the question. It is simply it's so obvious. You see, a seed, a mustard seed, will not grow on concrete. To a large extent, environmental toxicity is the reason why we are not benefiting from our talent. The toxic environment is what is stopping Nigeria from benefiting from the best of its talent. Why are the best of our talents running to go away and staying away? Why? Because the environment chokes their potential. There is no infrastructural opportunities that will preserve the talents that we have. Just this morning, I saw a young man on my X, right, that just developed he branded a filling station with just cardboards and the rest of them. You needed to see his raw potential at work. But is there anyone is there any nursery to incubate such a talent and develop it? In other climes, they will pick up talents like this, they will nurse them, they will put them in an environment where they will grow. If you look at China, for instance, now, reading the book, 5 Surprises of China, if you look at United Arab Emirates too, what they did was that they traveled into the environments where their talents were migrating into. What was responsible for the comforts and how they thrived in that environment, and they brought the same environment to their own local environment, repatriating their talents into their environment. They were ready to compensate them for their performance and their excellence, their exceptionalism. Now, if you look at Nigeria today, merit is almost dead. Somebody was saying we have the bill, not too young to rule. We should also have another bill, not too old to rule. Too old to rule and too corrupt to rule. Are we together? So the moment we make, we make strategic positions, political compensation, we cannot have productivity. So an average Nigeria today sees his talent as a threat in his environment. Why? Because of what? Infrastructural deficiency. Number 2, because of what? The rule of law, the transparency and the rule of law is still at its lowest ebb. Are we together? So this is the reason why you find out that what? Our talents will not want to stay in this environment. The major problem is environment. Nothing grows in the environment of fear. Right now, safety and security, nobody can guarantee it. Nobody can guarantee anything. Those days, you and I can trek to school. Today, I can't release my child to go to school. Why? Because of kidnapping. People can't go to farm. Recently, we were in a youth forum where somebody was developing, robo-dogs. The robo-dogs will now go to farm, right? Instead of the farmers. To go and survey the farmland before the farmers will go to the farm. Look at infrastructure again. Look at our roads. The places of production cannot move their produce to the places of distribution. Distribution is hampered. So you see it now. We don't have infrastructure like, for instance, in IT. What support do we have? Do we have IT communities? In China, they have IT communities where they will house these young talents. They simply give them reproductive capacity. They bring a particular product and say, bring this prototype, and they produce it. And from there, they evaluate it, and then they try to structure it. That's how it has been. What is the level of our education, right? What is our curriculum? Our curriculum, are they up to standard? Can they feed our potential? Our curriculum is below the potentials that we have. So people go for the areas where their potential can fit into the curriculum, at the same time the environment that nurses their growth. So this is the raw reason why our talents are not staying within our nation.
So just within a minute, because we need to wrap this up, we've been pressed for time. You talked about economic innovations. If we are going to move forward as a nation going forward, what are some of the economic innovations you would ask that this nation employs to, get more out of the natural blessings that we actually do have?
We should create innovation hubs, right from secondary schools into the universities. Now we have university students, they do projects. Let's have practical projects. Let's stop having theoretical projects. All the projects that are written in universities are littered all over the libraries doing nothing. Let's have practical projects, the manifestation of the learnings, right? Let's create an innovation hub. Let's stop giving handouts. Let's create empowerment. Let's empower the knowledge that they have to create things that we can see. Let's give opportunities for the raw display of talent. In art and culture, you will see in the entertainment industry, our youths are taking the aerial positions. What about the real sector? What about the manufacturing sector? What about agriculture? Today, young people are doing AI-driven agriculture. We are not showcasing them. We are not giving them an opportunity for them to be branded and exported, right? Even in IT, in manufacturing as well. What are the nurseries that we have? We have steel, we have iron, we have all the natural resources, but we lack processing. So let's create opportunity for processing. Let's bring in the experts that will help us nurse the talents that we have. We can have MOUs, the same way we have MOUs on oil that has bedeviled the nation. Let's import the same joint venture and develop the real sectors, right? The IT sectors. These are the things I think that we can begin to do.
Absolutely great. You definitely have to have this conversation again with us sometime on Rise and Shine. It's been such an impactful, strong conversation in the limited time. Thank you very much, Julius Afolabi, business strategist and economist, for coming on Rise and Shine this Independence Day. We'll definitely have this conversation again with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Well, great conversation, great contributions on a day like this, but that's where we need to draw the curtains, and I do hope that you can implement across board all the conversations that we've had on this Independence Day. That's where I and Francis will draw the curtains, and once again we say Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. Bye-bye for now.